Okay, let's be honest. If you are watching this video, you're probably already a fan of the Nancy Drew PC games by Her Interactive, or you're at least one of my friends that's just here for moral support. Appreciate you. But if neither of those describe you, and you're not a fan of the games or one of my friends, I still want to welcome you to the world of Nancy Drew. Most people in the world have probably already heard of Nancy Drew because she's a sensation. Nancy's a teen detective who solves mysteries in over 30 unique and interesting locations. There's actually exactly 34 games, but I say over 30 because not all of them are unique and some of them are not that interesting to me. My name is Emily, and I'm going to be recreating these incredible PC games from my childhood as real vacations and sharing the journey with all of Nancy's passionate fans who dream of doing the same thing. And I know that's a lot of you. So I'm really excited to share this with you. And if all of that doesn't appeal to you, the premise of re-exploring your favorite childhood memories in real life, then I am so sorry that you've lost all of your whimsy, and I hope you find another video to watch. So for those of you that are sticking around, it all started when my partner told me he booked us a surprise trip to San Francisco for my birthday, but I only had one thing on my mind, as always: Nancy Drew. I saw the opportunity to start my bucket list project of visiting every Nancy Drew location with the very first game that I ever played. You know it, you love it. It's the Y2K released title that started it all, with pixel-perfect puzzle requirements, shameless fire foreshadowing, and the most terrifying prospect of all: being asked to leave, in all caps. For those of you who haven't played it, Nancy travels to an old Victorian mansion in San Francisco to help renovate it into a bed and breakfast, but the home is plagued by accidents and hauntings that lead Nancy's investigation into a legendary treasure hunt. Charlie, the handyman.
My name's Charlie.
Rose, the owner of the house.
I would love to have a week without any accidents.
Louis, the owner of an antique store.
It's a gallery, not a store, and it's called Chandler Interiors.
And Abby, the mystical medium and astrologist drama coach who speaks Latin sometimes,
Pax vobiscum.
are your four suspects, each with their own secrets and stories to add to the mystery. Since I'm only a pawn jump away from San Francisco down in Southern California, I'll be doing this trip over a long weekend with 2 travel days and 3 full days to explore. Without further ado, welcome to episode 1 of the Nancy Drew travel series. Case number 3, Message in a Haunted Mansion.
Hello from stormy San Francisco.
If you're visiting San Francisco, you might want to see places like the Golden Gate Bridge, Fisherman's Wharf, or Ghirardelli Square. I myself wandered into the Institute of Contemporary Art and enjoyed an excellent exhibition, but this trip will be focused on Nancy's activities for the most part. Like Nancy, I myself am a skeptic of the supernatural, but rumored haunted historic hotels and bed and breakfasts in San Francisco run rampant. Luckily, my partner booked our accommodations at the ghost-free Omni San Francisco Hotel, and it is beautiful. It has a really opulent feeling and actually opened in a similar era as those early Nancy Drew games. You might be able to tell from the Treasure in the Royal Tower style escape hatches in the ceiling and the classic rotary phone on our floor. Even the bar downstairs has a dark wooden saloon look to it, just like the game. We even had a very fun fire-related mishap where the alarm in our room decided to run out of battery and beep like crazy at 5 in the morning. But overall, the hotel stay was incredible, and detectives wanting to make a trip like this of their own could check out places like the Fairmont Hotel, or the historic Queen Anne Hotel, both of those rumored to be haunted. I even looked into some converted mansion B&Bs and discovered the haunted Chateau Tivoli. But when we walked by, I saw that it was for sale, which made the website still advertising it seem really creepy. Anyways, now that we're all unpacked, it's time to start learning about the true history of the city, and hopefully without recreating all of the terrifying parts. When it comes to the story of Message in a Haunted Mansion, the game, it captures a lot of the major themes and motifs in San Francisco's golden era. So you're going to see Victorian aesthetics, mentions of gold, and especially the looming impact of the natural disasters in 1906.
The Great Earthquake.
Before we take off, I'd like to introduce those accompanying me on this journey. You've already seen my partner Nick, who planned the surprise and is very supportive of this endeavor despite never having played a Nancy Drew game yet. And a special guest and Clue Crew friend based in San Francisco. I introduced her to the games back when we lived together in college, and together we're going to take a tour of the real house that the Golden Gardenia is based on. So let's give a warm welcome and say hey to my friend Shelby.
Hey.
She's going to help me keep an eye out around the city for ties to Nancy Drew. I did do a little interview with Shelby, but the audio wasn't great, so I'll just leave you guys with this little snippet.
How about a least favorite puzzle? Favorite moment? Real drag. Oh, Barnacle Blaster.
Barnacle Blaster. I hate Barnacle Blaster.
Now, according to Her Interactive's blog, the interior and concept for the Golden Gardenia are based on one of the most well-preserved old Queen Anne chateaus in the whole city, the Haus Lilienthal House. And how much did Rose say she spent on the renovations? Because I don't think her insurance policy is quite large enough. You gotta love the home prices in the year 2000. This house is the only old Victorian that is open to the public, and thanks to the generations of the prominent Haas family living and preserving its originality, they finally turned it into a heritage site that now houses the headquarters for San Francisco's Heritage Association. I found this legacy really befitting the humanitarian efforts of fictional Diego Valdez and Lizzie Applegate, who, despite being more along the lines of Robin Hoods, they pledged all their wealth and hidden treasure to relief efforts. With that said, we urge anyone visiting to pay the $10 for a docent-led tour. Shout out to our incredibly knowledgeable guide, Carlo. If you're watching this, I had no idea you were a Nancy Drew fan. But anyways, you can go and learn and experience the history of the family and the city. And if you don't prefer a docent-led tour, consider donating to their educational efforts. It's one of the most responsible things you can do as a tourist to give back. We started the tour in the basement, where you'll find a historical display giving background on the house. If you played the game, you'll recall a frustrating amount of references to the natural disasters of 1906, destroying all the records on the house.
Unfortunately, there are no records on this house before 1906.
Almost all the records on these old houses were destroyed in the Great Earthquake.
The Great Earthquake.
And I have to report that it is unfortunately accurate to say that much of the city was completely wiped out. As you can see in this photo, it left around 250,000 residents homeless. And the fact that it's true sure makes a good excuse for the culprit to pretend they have no idea that there's hidden treasure on site in the game. Moving through the house, you'll see a lot of the visual elements of the game, including beautiful stained glass and grand staircases. So I've included side-by-side footage of those visuals for your enjoyment as I tell you the stories I've learned. Like the Golden Gardenia, this house survived the 1906 earthquake with only this crack in the wall to show for it, which the family opted not to repair so that they could always remember their gratitude that their home survived. Still, throughout the tour, I made sure to note where all the fire extinguishers were at any given moment, just in case.
Affordable. I sometimes wonder, though, if this old house would be worth more burned to the ground.
Burned to the ground.
And make sure you blow out the candles on your way up. I don't want to wake up and find the house on fire.
And find the house on fire.
Rose told me she was afraid that house was a fire trap.
The fire trap.
I've put my entire life savings into this house, and if it goes up in smoke, I'll lose everything.
I'll lose everything.
It's good to know it's here. Fire!
If you've ever wondered what an accurate version of a kitchen would look like in this game, this might give you an idea, including these Victorian dining menus, much like Waverly Academy, and this massive chore list that would make Nancy drool. Though in the game, the house was set up to function as a hotel rather than space for family life. However, you may remember the game lore of Chef Wing Tang, who worked for Lizzie in the hotel and is responsible for coining the iconic second chance-inducing phrase, gumbo foo.
Gumbo foo? What's that?
Gumbo foo? I love gumbo. What kind of gumbo is gumbo foo?
On the tour of the Haas family's laundry room, I learned that the iron Nancy picks up was actually extremely heavy, and that in the real history of San Francisco, Chinese immigrants seeking to find gold and return wealthy to China were faced with extreme prejudice and discrimination when they arrived. As very few miners successfully found gold, many sought out regular jobs, but racist sentiments about economic competition meant that very few Chinese laborers were able to get jobs. And it even became illegal under the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882. Due to a shortage of women in the mining city, Chinese entrepreneurs decided to fill the niche of laundry services. So the Haas family would have had a live-in laundryman who was likely a Chinese immigrant. Unlike the story in the game, where it is the chef, I do think this history gives a real depth and realism to our understanding of the game lore, reminds us once again of the many lessons we can take from learning about history, especially confronting injustices. Speaking of injustices, El Diablo and Lizzie Applegate were not real, despite what some Clue crew members may have been misled to believe. But the politics in their stories lend plausibility to their characters to fit within history. Our docent even made a reference to the fact that Victorian women did not wear makeup, because that sort of thing was worn by low members of society, and in his words, or worse, actresses. And in the game, you can read a newspaper clipping in the saloon that references how unacceptable it was at the time for women to act on stage. And while there were differing opinions about female performers at the time, the real actress, Lotta Crabtree, who is name-dropped in the game to be a friend of the fictional Lizzie.
Oh, sure, she was a good friend of Lotta Crabtree, another popular actress in the late 1800s.
Was actually adored and accepted, marked a time where the controversy around women's roles began to subside. This adds some merit to the concept that Lizzie herself was also a beloved member of the community, rather than a complete outcast for fighting against traditional roles for women. Now, this tour was the bulk of the Nancy-related activities, but we wanted to explore and see some other Nancy Drew Easter eggs throughout the city. So, naturally, our next step was to explore Chinatown. These beautiful streets are incredibly fun, and all around the city you will find amazing food that Nancy doesn't show you in this game because she can't eat, but we had amazing ramen, tried awesome Russian food at a place called Cinderella Bakery, and we got incredible, authentic Portuguese pastel de nata near our hotel in the financial district. I told you I also wandered into the Institute of Contemporary Art and saw this exhibition by Masako Miki. If you ever played Nancy Drew Shadow at the Water's Edge, you'll know what a yurei is, and this was her artistic interpretation of the Japanese yokai, or mythological spirits and ghosts. I found this little book that reminded me of the game. We went all around Golden Gate Park, and San Francisco is also famous for clam chowder that would give Hot Kettle Cafe a run for its money. Even though Nancy only picks up books about non-alcoholic drinks in this game, we found some really fun places to drink, including this little writer's bar called Vesuvio's. And all around the city, you will continue to find amazing food. Now, if the Institute of Contemporary Art isn't for you, then you might be interested in the Palace of Fine Arts in the Marina District. It's definitely more of a classical kind of art and it looks like a beautiful version of ancient Greece. Now, I don't have time to go into every single thing that we did in detail. I know this is my first video, but I feel like this is going to be one of the easiest locations to have an incredible vacation that also feels authentic to the experience of the game and how it feels to be in that environment. So, thank you so much for coming on this journey with me. If you're still watching, please feel free to let me know what games you're most excited to see in real life, and follow along as I continue to combine my passion for travel with Nancy Drew's ethos to leave the places you visit better off than you found them. With that, I will see you next time in a new location. So long, losers.
I guess a haunted bed and breakfast with hidden treasures is all the rage these days, even if there are no such things as ghosts. I think. See you soon, Nancy.
So long, losers.